Hi Laura, thank you so much for joining me in this series for Veganuary. I think I've got it now. So Laura, I know that you are vegan and you have a plant-based diet and you live a vegan lifestyle. Would you tell me a bit more about that and how your journey happened?
Yeah, sure. So about 7 years ago, it's a long time ago, I wanted to change my diet mainly for self-care reasons, because I felt like I needed to do something to sort of nourish myself. I felt like the food I was eating was not healthy, and I was eating lots of sugar. So like just grabbing like something on the go, like a Mars bar or something. And I read that dairy is really bad for your skin. And that was one thing that affected my mental health, is that I've always had, since I was a teenager, like pretty sensitive skin, in that it would flare up with acne when around that time of the month. And it actually really affected my confidence, so I'd wear like lots of makeup. And so I just thought, you know, if I look at my actual diet, maybe that will change the flare-ups, and it will change it's a lot to do with hormones, and I read that milk has a lot of estrogen because it's from a cow's tit. So it makes sense. So a lot of things I was reading made me think, okay, so if I'm drinking hormones and putting that into my body, then, you know, the outcome of my skin is going to affect. It makes sense, doesn't it? Whatever you put in is going to affect your skin. So really, like, I went vegan for just that reason, just to feel a bit better, look better, and then sort of sort out the acne. It did help, but really just going along the vegan road just changed a whole different thing. It kind of went into its own, it kind of evolved a lot as well.
Yeah, was it a slow process? So like, did you start off so reducing the milk and then taking other elements out of your diet and supplementing them or changing them, or was it just, right, that's it, that's what I'm going to do from now?
I actually mentor for something called Challenge 22, which is very similar to Veganuary, which is like you try something for a little bit of time. And I think most people, what I advise most people to do is just to do, like, you know, one good thing to do is to do like a meal a day. So like you could do breakfast. So I've got my breakfast here, just as a coincidence. So I've just got cereal, I've got oat milk and bananas and blueberries, and then I've got some fruit on the side. So you could do that, like just do one meal, then you have the other two, just how you normally do it, and then maybe do that for 2 weeks and then slowly, you know, change. But I wasn't like that at all, because I'm a bit of an all or nothing person. So I just went, right, I want to be vegan, I'm gonna just change everything, right? I don't think a lot of people are like that. They're just it seems like quite a crazy way of doing things, and I don't think it works for everyone. So like I made a few mistakes as I was doing that, because it's not very easy just to transition like that. But I think even when I made mistakes, I was like, right, I'm going to keep doing it. I'm going to keep sticking to it. I had some times where I just sort of gave up and then tried again. So I think that's another approach. It just depends sort of what works for you. Everyone's different. I've always been like, I've had enough of that. I'm not doing that anymore. And I just sort of just like, I don't know, it's just like part of my personality, I guess. But yeah, there's, I mean, different ways of doing it. Yeah, just try whatever way works for you. No right or wrong way, I guess.
Yeah, I think for me, slow and steady will probably be the best scenario. So I've spoken about this before, that my main kind of goal for 2021 is to review what I'm doing in terms of my food intake, my exercise. I'm pretty sure I hit burnout this year, and the lack of energy is really because I'm such an energetic, hyper person, that I tend to do 101 things all in one go, and I can, you know, the busier I am, the better I feel. But at the moment, I'm just like, I need a boost of energy, and considering what I'm eating and looking at how I'm fueling myself is probably my priority this year. However, I do have to consider 4 other people who I, you know, my family who I live with, and I'm the main chef in the house, I guess. So it's kind of balancing the two. But looking at recipes, etc., I don't think it's going to be too difficult to implement some, if not all, because we do eat a lot of pulses, we do eat a lot of salad, a lot of vegetables. So it's just cutting out some things and adding others. And in terms of mental health, do you think that eating a plant-based diet has helped you to feel and mentally feel better?
It has. So you mentioned before, just before we started talking about the bad side about being vegan. So I wanted to touch on that for a second, because I think when I first started eating a vegan diet, I watched, you know, there's lots of documentaries on Netflix. One of them that made me really adamant that I wanted to turn vegan was called Veganuary. It's Veganuary, yeah. It's, I think it's still on Netflix. It's like 6 people try a vegan diet for 6 weeks, and they talk about, they take them for a supermarket and just go, you can eat this, blah, blah, blah. And they talk about the health benefits, ethics, so like animal cruelty, and the environmental benefits of becoming plant-based. So that sort of changed everything for me. And there are loads of documentaries that I can recommend, you know, Forks Over Knives, there's Game Changers, there's so many good ones. And I think when you first turn vegan, you kind of have like a flip switch, like you kind of go, wow, this is so outrageous that I've never thought about. You know, for me, like a big thing for me was the milk industry. So the way that female cows are treated is horrific. So they're artificially inseminated, and then, which basically is having a hand up your butt and put sperm in there, right? And then they're impregnated, and then that's how they produce milk, is because the calf is taken away from them. So the milk for the calf is for us, you know, so we drink that milk rather than the baby, which for me was always, that made me so outraged and angry, actually, that, you know, you, as a kid, I was given milk in school, you know, and just like you never think about the animals, you know, we're just sort of blindsided, blinkered a little bit. And so I think there is that anger, but slowly I've realized that anger is not very useful. People already are not big fans of angry vegans, you know, you already have that sort of stigma. So I think what's better is to try and use the anger and, you know, go for a run. That's what I do. And try to become like a positive person who inspires people to change, rather than telling people what to do and preaching to people. I think it's better for your mental health, to just do your thing, show people that you can eat really well on a plant-based diet. And yeah, I think that's the best way to do it. I mean, it is hard going to a supermarket and seeing meat, and you were talking about that as well, seeing like the death aisle. Yeah. But if you don't partake in that and you actively promote a healthy vegan lifestyle, then you are doing a lot, even though you feel like it's really not enough.
I mean, every little bit does count, you know, and eventually it's like a domino effect. So for example, for me, Dolly, you've definitely inspired me, because I have seen your progress in terms of pole, which is something that you do, and you bring to your audience as well, which is great. And I remember being there on your first ever session, and now I watch your videos and I'm like, that's amazing. And the fact that you're telling me you do this on a healthy plant-based diet is amazing, and I just don't know where you get the energy from. I really don't, but you know,
yeah,
it's great.
But you know what's really interesting is that so when I first started eating vegan, I wasn't eating healthy vegan. So you can base, and I think again it's a journey, so it's not judging people who are not eating healthy or whatever. It's just literally, you might find that you start as a vegan, you eat all the processed stuff, like you would eat like the Vivera steak, which is better than eating the animal version, right?
Mm-hmm.
For every reason, you know, the ethics and the environmental reasons and health reasons too. But it's actually what you want to go towards, and what I've learned like over time is that you want to go towards more of a whole food plant-based diet, which is, you know, vegetables and fruit rather than the stuff in a packet. But again, it's a process, and I don't feel like everyone wants to go towards that type of diet. Maybe they want to be somewhere in the middle, you know, eating super healthy and then also eating the kind of junky stuff that you can get. But for me, just because of pole and because of running, I'm really, really super cautious about what I put in my body now. So I do try to eat, you know, I'll just get some organic veg, put it in the oven, and that's my dinner. Like I'll just have like kale, potatoes, sweet potatoes, courgettes, carrots. I just cut it all up, put it all in, and then that will be dinner for me. Just like loads of vegetables. That's like my favorite. But yeah, I do eat like also Thai food, or we have sometimes Caribbean vegan food, or, you know, so we mix it up a bit, but we try to be as healthy as possible.
Yeah. And do you find that socializing and going out to eat, for example, is difficult? Take some planning? What's that situation? I mean, not that I tend to go, I don't often socialize or go out, but, you know, I like to cover all points.
Yeah, sure. So I find family gatherings may be a bit more weird, just because my family sort of thing around food has been weird since I was a kid anyways. Like, for example, my sister's quite picky eater. She's also vegan now. It's a coincidence, I think. And my mom has always been like more like traditional, so she likes to eat meat a lot. So like for Christmas and things, sometimes feels a bit silly because we'll have like our own vegan meal prepared, and then my mom and her boyfriend will have more like a meat like a turkey, and, you know, they'll eat like that, and that for me feels a bit like awkward, you know. Also because you care, like when you care about someone, you don't want them putting that kind of stuff in their body, especially when you've slowly learned the benefits of eating plant-based and the negative impact of meat in someone's diet. You can kind of, it makes you feel like you want to say something, but you know, it's not your place really to tell people what to do either. But eating out is not too bad because, you know, you've got Wagamama, you've got a lot of leading fast food chains that have vegan menus now. I think traveling can be tough if you go to like the ends of the world. Like if we were in Cuba once, and that was quite tough because there was 2 places that did like vegan meals. But, you know, even then, like in somewhere like South America, you can just ask for rice and beans and they'll do it for you. So, you know, most supermarkets will have some form of fruit or even canned something, you know. So I think a lot of people before changing their diet will already think, oh, you know, there's going to be this event coming up. You know, they'll come up with fictional things that, you know, aren't actually problems. I think it's just better just to change your diet, and then, you know, when these opportunities to eat out come up, then you kind of worry about it. But actually, I've never really had too many issues.
Well, see, as I've been speaking to people, I found that it doesn't seem to be a problem now because there's so many restaurants and there's so many options. So gone are the days of having to pick side dishes to make your meal, you know.
Yeah, I think I used to do that a bit, yeah. But even if you went to, like, let's say you went to Italy and you're in like a rural Italian village, right? You could ask for pasta and you can just check that it's not made with egg, right? Because that's the one thing that might be a problem. You can just have pasta and vegetables and tomato sauce. Like, it's not the most exciting meal, but, you know, you're still gonna eat. Another thing you can do is like if you're super worried, but again, this isn't really an issue, but what you could do, let's say you're going to a friend's house who they're not very vegan friendly or whatever, you could just have like a smoothie or something before you leave. So I sometimes make like either a protein smoothie with like protein powder, and sometimes I'll mix it with oat milk and bananas or something like that, or frozen fruit and some frozen veg, and it depends what kind of thing you're after. But if you do that, then you kind of sorted out your nutrition a little bit, and you kind of feel a bit full, and then you can go to the house and just have like bread, or it's really not a big deal. But in general, I've never really had any problems.
Yeah.
I think
Does it take a lot of
more vegan.
Sorry. Does it take a lot of planning? Planning your meals, and or have you got to that stage where it's just kind of second nature now?
It depends, because I think if you're not worried about the health side of things, so if you just want to eat vegan and that's like, then I don't think it's really too bad, because you can do your online shop and just put vegan in the search bar and it just buy whatever you want. But me and my husband were trying to go a bit more healthy, so more whole foods, more fresh veg, organic fruit. So that makes it a tiny bit more difficult. But I get the Able and Cole veg boxes delivered every week, and they're like a mixture of a variety of different things. And I think variety is important when you're eating. So different colors of fruit and vegetables are really important, different types. So we just take those and mix it up and just eat whatever's in there every week. And it means that we don't have to like go to a supermarket or go online to a supermarket and order specific things. And then we have cookbooks and set meals that will usually, once you have like 2 or 3 that you really like, then you can just do that on rotation a little bit. I mean, it's a bit of planning. I think the worst part of everything is when you first change and go to something new. That's always like the hardest bit, right? It's changing your habit. And then once you've done it for
used to it is
hard.
I think maybe this time last year, actually, I tried buying some bits. So we had vegan nuggets, and I just wanted to like test out the children and see. They had no idea. They didn't even notice the difference, to be fair. I could, mainly because I cook without salt, and to me they tasted a little bit salty. But other than that, the texture, everything, the kids just loved them. And I was like, seriously, I thought they would be really fussy about them. I haven't been too keen. I haven't found a cheese that I like, but then I'm fussy with cheese anyway.
What cheese brand do we use? Can't remember the name of it. It's going to annoy me. I guess
it's trying different brands and different things until you find what you like to supplement.
The cheese that we buy is called VO Life cheese, so VIO and then Life, and you can get that pretty much anywhere now. I think Sainsbury's do it, and I saw it in a really random place the other day. I can't remember, and I was like, whoa, they have that. Yeah, in Spain they had it.
Oh, really?
In Spain, it was in the supermarket, and we're like, wow. And even there, I remember a few years ago when we went into that same supermarket, they didn't have very many vegan options like that were, just packaged vegan easy things. Obviously they have fruit and vegetables, but then I saw more like cheese alternatives, butter alternatives, yogurt alternatives. Just everything was a lot more vegan friendly. So that was really interesting, and that was within a year, I would say, that things have changed a bit there. So the market is expanding.
Exactly, because the demand is there, which is great. I mean, hopefully there'll be a point where everybody is conscious about what they're eating and what they're feeding their bodies, and then that will have a ripple effect on the environment and all those other things that we consider. It's a really exciting time for me, because I'm committed, and I've got loads of recipes to try. going to try and keep on top of it. I'm not promising. And we tend to have the odd day where I'm like, me, I'm not cooking, sort yourselves out, you know, cookies and a cup of tea for dinner will do. But I am interested to see the journey. And how long do you feel like it took you to feel the difference in yourself? So do you think that within Veganuary 31 days I would be able to feel the impact of the different foods that I'm eating?
I think so. I think you'll find that it's easier than you thought it would be. I think that's what you'll feel, because there are so many alternatives out there. And then the next thing is just there are two things that most people do wrong. And I mean, this is talking from experience. So I think a lot of people might eat too little calories because they're just not quite sure how to, so they might stare into an empty cupboard and be like, okay, I'm going to have lentils and mashed potato, right? They don't really know how to put meals together, which is normal, I guess, when you're doing something new. It's fine. But so there's that. So making sure you're eating enough calories, because otherwise you'll feel rubbish. Like you'll have headache, you'll be like, I don't know, have low sugar, and that's not good. And then the other thing that people do wrong, I think, is eat too many calories. So you can just buy like vegan everything now. So you can get vegan cheesecake, you can get, any type of food that you want. You can go, oh, it's vegan, and that doesn't necessarily mean it's healthy. Yeah. So everything in moderation, right? So if you want to try a vegan cheesecake, it's fine. But I think that's the other thing. And I think me and Mike went from one to the other, like we tried eating like super healthy, and then we were eating too little calories. And then, there's so much vegan junk available that you can start to go the other way as well. So yeah, I think it's just like maybe creating like a meal plan or something, or trying to do it so that you don't do either of those things, which I'm sure, if you just eat normally and eat how you normally would have eaten before, but just substitute everything, you should be fine. But yeah, I'm sure you'll feel a difference, even just feeling a bit better about what you're putting out in the world. It's like a very karmic thing that if you're not doing harm, then you feel slightly better. Or that's how I felt as well. You just feel a bit more aligned with, no one likes animal cruelty. So if you don't agree with animal cruelty, then you shouldn't really be paying people to slaughter animals or treat animals badly. Mm-hmm. So there's that part of it too. And then also just the environment is under major stress, and we just can't have everyone eating meat. It just doesn't work. It won't work. There's no way. The numbers just don't work. So we're going to have to do something different. So yeah. I think it's exciting. You try something new.
Excellent. Well,
what's the worst that can happen?
Well, the kids fall in love with my new recipes. What can I say?
Well, I think the worst thing that can happen is that you don't like it and you hate it, and you just go back to what you were doing before, right? Which I don't think will happen. But like, you're not going to get ill from trying something new. You're going to be a bit out of your comfort zone, which I think is really good. So yeah. I think it's a really good thing.
Here's to 2021 filled with energy. That's my main goal.
Yeah, energy.
So yeah, some people might not be able to handle me after all the extra energy.
Yeah. Or the green plants.
Fabulous, Dolly. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak to me. Yeah, and I look forward to seeing you in actual person soon. I don't think I've seen you all year.
I know, yeah. Yeah, it's weird. I guess once everything calms down a bit, that will be when, I don't know, just trying not to mix with people, just doing everything.
Or make plans. One thing that I have found is making long-term plans is just not, because I'm constantly getting disappointed. So we're just kind of taking each day as it comes, and freaking about the stuff that we can control and letting the other stuff go, because what else?
Well, one thing you can control is your diet, right?
Absolutely.
And what you put in your body, and then also, that's like a massive part of controlling what you can control. you can't really take control of what other people are doing. Again, that's like the anger and frustration that can lead to a bit of vegan depression. So I think it's just letting other people do what they want to do. You know, if they criticize you for being different or eating differently to how they expect you to eat, like, that's fine. That's their stuff, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
What you've got to do is what you think is right for you, and like whatever they want to say. What they want to say. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much. And
You're welcome.
yay! I'll let you know how I get on. Or actually, you'll see it. It'll be documented.
Yeah, I'll see. Yeah, document it, and then if you need help, like just
Absolutely, yeah. I know who to come to. Yeah, that's great. All right, Dolly. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
See you soon.
See you soon. Bye. Bye.